routine go?
I'm so sleepy. Oh, my pump has something to say.
Yeah.
I'm so sleepy. However, that's not what my pump is saying. I don't know what my pump is saying.
I don't know. I don't know what your pump is saying.
That my blood sugar is spiking for no reason.
You're a cyborg. Oh, stop.
Sorry, I'm so tired.
You gave me the yawns.
I don't know why my blood sugar is spiking. I didn't even eat dinner.
You didn't eat your dinner?
Mm-mm.
You ate a peanut butter parfait.
Okay, but that was several hours ago, and my blood sugar's already crashed since then.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe it's just kicking it.
So, my blood sugar's been doing this since... I mean, it's probably been doing it since before I put my sensor on, but since I put my sensor on, it's been showing me that my blood sugar's been doing this.
Yeah, well, and now you've earned some kind of activity award, so there you go.
I think it was my standing goal.
It thinks that you're standing because you're so tall.
I really am. I thought, wow, you're really high up. You must be standing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Well, did any of you notice that we were late again this week?
No, but they're just used to it.
They're like, oh. They have like a pool that they all put money into to see what day that the show will actually come out on.
I wish people cared that much about our podcast.
They do. You don't know. All right. Well,
we're gonna yawn at you for the next hour.
Yeah, we are. Okay. Well, I guess we can tell a story.
Yeah, we have nothing going on in our lives right now, so definitely have nothing new to tell you.
Nope, nothing new.
Nope.
All right. Well, I got this off of BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Oh boy.
You ever watch that?
I have before, but I don't watch it often.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, now that the kitten has stopped making noise, BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, here we go. On November 29th, 1970, a father and his two daughters were hiking in Isdalen, a remote area near Bergen, Norway. The two girls were 10 and 12. Isdalen literally translates to Ice Valley.
Okay.
So, first of all, why are they hiking here?
Why is anybody hiking there on purpose?
Especially in late November.
Right.
In Norway.
Right.
It's got to be dark and cold and ugh, yuck. So the girls smell something bad, and they find a woman lying wedged in some rocks just off the trail.
Okay.
And they could see that she was badly burned. She was laying face up, and her arms were in a boxer's pose. And recall that it's 1970.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only person who has a cell phone at this point in time is Maxwell Smart.
Mm-hmm.
So since this area is super remote and can't be accessed by car, this man and his children on their lovely afternoon outing have to take a 2-hour hike back around this lake to contact the police.
Right.
So when the police arrive, they also noted the strong smell of burning flesh before they even found the woman.
Did you say it was burning flesh before? I didn't.
They just smelled something bad, but then you could see that she was burned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, because these girls have never spoken about this publicly.
Yeah.
Even when reporters have been able to talk to them off the record, they are just we will never talk about this. And so we don't 100% know exactly how they interpreted the smell.
Mm-hmm.
But when investigators got there, it was clearly burning flesh.
Mm-hmm.
So, she was badly burned, but only on her front side, including her face, making it impossible to tell what she looked like in life. Her backside was not burned at all. Her hair was even still in a ponytail held with a blue and white ribbon.
Yeah.
She was in that boxer's pose, but that is a common pose that burn victims are found in because it's caused by muscle contraction. Yeah. And so even though it looks like a defensive pose, it's really your muscles seizing up. So around her were what seemed to be her belongings. They found 2 plastic bottles that contained water, an empty bottle of liquor, a broken umbrella, and jewelry, She was not wearing the jewelry. It was like placed near her. And there was a watch that was set to 10:10. And I learned that apparently that's the time that stores will set watches to when they put them in the window for display.
Uh-huh.
I had no idea. Um, there were earrings and a ring. And again, these things were all seemed to be like placed around her body. One of the investigators who responded to the scene said that the placement was weird, like there had been some kind of a ceremony. Her clothing had been made of mostly synthetics and were badly burned, and they found remains of rubber boots. So I listened to a podcast called Death in Ice Valley that's produced by the BBC and NRK.
Uh-huh.
And they said that there were remains of what looked like burned paper, a small metal ring that was thought to maybe hold a passport photo, and a matchbook from an erotic underwear postal order service in Japan.
Okay.
I know. Not Japan, sorry, Germany. I don't know why I read that weird.
Either way.
Yeah. And apparently this place is still in business, but it's like, they're like sex shops.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, one of the hosts of this podcast said that the original police reports didn't mention anything about finding a site for a fire, and it looked like only the woman had been on fire.
Yeah.
The only accelerant that was found was a small trace amount of petrol on a fur hat that was found beneath the woman's body. And additionally, a weird find that all of the tags from her clothing had been cut out, and the labels on the bottles had been rubbed off.
Okay.
So the only label that was still intact was the one on the matchbook.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, weird, right?
Yeah, that's
so like
a strange detail.
Yeah, it's really weird. So, as I stated at the beginning, she was found in Norway's Isdal Valley.
Uh-huh.
And while it literally translates to Ice Valley, locals also call this area Death Valley. It's known to be a site where people were known to commit suicide in the medieval times, and people have also fallen to their deaths while hiking in the fog.
Yeah.
Again, why
are you hiking in the fog? Why are you even there?
It sounds like a terrible place to go. It doesn't seem to be a casual hiking place, at least not for people like us who are meanderers at best.
Yes. We like to touch moss and
take pictures of mushrooms growing out of elk poop.
And look for snails, like...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how we hike.
Yeah. And chase the wild horses and baby ducks. And,
Yes. Mm-hmm. We are expert hikers.
Yeah, and when we heard that wolf howl that one time, we ran for our lives.
We were really fast that time.
So, this woman didn't seem to be a hiker based on what they found. One of the original investigators, Carl Halver Oos, joined the hosts from the Death in Ice Valley podcast on a trip back to the site. He's like the last remaining investigator, I think. I honestly don't know if he's still alive or not, because the podcast I was listening to was from like 2017.
Yeah.
And he was saying that it was such a hard place to get to that it didn't make sense that someone would go there to die by suicide. But it also didn't seem like a good place for someone to take another place to murder them.
But also, if she had died by suicide, that stuff wouldn't be placed weirdly around her body.
Yeah. Unless she, like, placed it beforehand.
And then she set herself on fire?
Well, no, it's a crazy thing. So, he also mentioned that they felt like perhaps when she caught fire or was burned or whatever, that she had thrown herself back. And that's why she was found on her back in those rocks. Because her head was kind of down and her feet were up, like almost like she had like fallen backwards. Because they didn't know who she was dubbed the Isdal Woman. They contacted the press to put out information to try to find someone who could identify her, because there was no identifying information.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, her clothes, all the tags were cut out. Everything was missing. So they said that she was about 5 feet 5 inches tall. She had long brownish black hair, small round face, brown eyes, and small ears. And they thought that she was between the ages of 25 and 40, which is a pretty big range.
Pretty wide range there.
She was sent for an autopsy, which offered some more weird things. So there was a bruise on the right side of her neck, and without really knowing anything about her, they said could have been caused by either a blow or by a fall. She had smoke in her lungs, which means that she was alive when she burned.
Great.
There was a high concentration of carbon monoxide in her blood. And maybe the weirdest thing was that there were between 50 to 70 sleeping pills in her stomach.
Okay.
The brand was Phenomol, and they were pink, which was only sold in England at the time. So Norway did sell this brand, but their pills were white.
Yeah.
And the only pink ones you could find were in England.
Right.
So not all of the pills had been absorbed at the time that she died, and based on what had been absorbed, it was thought that she probably took some of them before she ever went out to the Isdal Valley. And I guess it was like she had taken them in batches.
Uh-huh.
So just based on like the manner that they had absorbed or whatever. So her manner of death was listed as a combination of carbon monoxide poisoning and ingesting a large number of sleeping pills, and her cause of death was listed as possible suicide. However, yes, the sleeping pills definitely make you think suicide.
Yeah.
But on the BuzzFeed Unsolved, they were like, dying by going to sleep is arguably like the best way to die. So then why would she then set herself on fire, which is arguably the worst way to die?
Exactly.
So even if she felt like the sleeping pills weren't working fast enough, fire seems like an extreme plan B.
Well, right. There seems like she would have gone for a more obvious route than setting herself on fire.
Right, because I was thinking there's a lake. Like, she could have just walked into the lake, like, groggy and just, whatever. I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah.
So 3 days after they find the Isdal woman, after reading about the woman in newspapers, workers from the Bergen railway station phoned police to tell them about some luggage that had been left on November 23rd, but never picked up. And she had been found on the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So when they opened the suitcases, things got even weirder, if possible.
Okay.
In addition to clothes with all of the labels removed, they found several wigs, glasses with clear non-prescription lenses, money from Germany, Norway, Belgium, England, and Switzerland, makeup, again with all of the labels removed, and a tube of eczema cream with the prescription information rubbed off of it. There was also a notebook with what appeared to be handwritten code. And other than the code, which they couldn't read, there were two things that had any kind of identifying information.
Okay.
The first was a fingerprint on the lens of a pair of sunglasses, which matched the Isdal woman. So that's how they knew that these suitcases belonged to her. The second was a plastic bag from a shoe shop in Stavanger, Norway. And remember, she was found outside of Bergen, and Bergen is about 130 miles away from Stavanger. The shop's name is Oscar Rortvits. I did listen to somebody say this, but Norwegian is hard. Yes. But it's this guy's footwear store.
This Oscar fella.
Yeah. The owner's son, Rolf, I'm just like, Rolf? We know Rolf. Was 22 at the time, and when police visited the shop, they discovered that he was the salesperson who had helped this woman. He said that she was well dressed and seemed to be behaving normally. She spoke English with an accent, but not a Norwegian accent. He thought the accent might have been German or French and described her as, quote, looking like a French type of person because she had a golden skin and a typical South European look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know.
You know French people.
You know what those people look like. He said she was indecisive and took a long time to choose what to buy, and that she left but came back the next day to purchase what he called celebrity boots.
Ooh.
I know.
Some kinky boots.
They are rubber boots. They kind of look like wellies. They're just rubber boots. But I guess like celebrities were wearing them, and it was very fashionable at the time, and so he called them celebrity boots.
Okay.
And these were the rubber boots that had been found with her body that had been like essentially melted.
Right.
The other thing he remembered about her was that she did not smell good.
Oh.
And that it was a very distinctive smell that even another worker in the shop noted and told police about. And it wasn't until years later that Rolf realized that the smell was garlic.
Okay.
And I really, truly imagine that he walked into an Italian restaurant and went, "That's it!"
This is familiar.
That's what the lady smelled like. Yeah. I mean, for us, garlic's just like an everyday smell.
Right.
But I guess in the 70s, Norway didn't really have spice. And so, like, they actually did it. And garlic wasn't something that you'd find in Norway. So it wasn't something that they immediately would recognize. So the police start canvassing the area around the shoe shop and talking to hotels, and they find that at the St. Svithin Hotel, the Isdal Woman description matched a woman who had stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
And she checked in with the name Fenella Lork.
Okay.
And listed her country of origin as Belgium.
Which is French and German.
Yes. When I was watching BuzzFeed Unsolved, because I watched it twice, and the first time I watched it, I wasn't watching it, I was listening to it while I was playing a game, and I thought he said vanilla. Yes. And I had to turn back, and I was like, what? What did you say?
Her name is Vanilla.
Yeah. So, Fenella. It was required at the time that hotel guests show a passport and fill out a check-in form. So the police were like, sweet, we know her name. She stayed at this hotel from November 9th through 18th, and the 18th was actually the day that she bought her boots and left the city. However, police soon find out that the name Fenella Lork is not real.
Well, it sounds so convincing.
I thought so too. And the passport number on the hotel card was not a real passport number, which means that she had a fake passport. And her handwriting was pretty distinctive, though.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to match it to hotel registration cards from several hotels all up and down Norway, and that she had used at least 7 different names. And since, again, hotels required a passport at the time, that means she had to have had 7 different passports.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them named Belgium as the country of origin. One of them listed Slovenia. They discovered hotel cards between March 21st and April 1st, and then again starting October 29th until November 23rd. And she had some odd behavior while staying at the hotels that the workers noticed. She often requested to change rooms. At one hotel, she changed rooms 3 times. I thought maybe they should have looked for missing women named Karen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But anytime she was in her room, she would move the armchair in the room out into the hall. And when she left, she would drag the chair back into the room.
Okay.
And this was true for at least her final stay in Bergen before she was found dead.
Trying to decide what you would need that extra room for.
I didn't know if it was that I didn't even think about that. I was thinking about it more like it would be like an extra layer of protection of somebody getting to the door. Like they would have to move the chair out of the way of the door to get to her door.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know.
Or maybe she was jazzercising.
Yeah, she needed some room to do her Grow with Joe.
Yeah, she might have.
I've been there.
Yes. Move the hotel furniture out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's see. The room in this last room that she stayed in Bergen was on the corner of the 4th floor, and from the balcony you had a clear view of like up and down both cross streets. She also would change hotels in the same city. So, for instance, in March, she stayed in one hotel in Bergen from March 24th to 25th, and then she went to another hotel in Bergen from March 25th to April 1st. And she did the same thing in November. And in her 9 separate stays, she never repeated hotels.
They've got a lot of hotels.
She's just testing them all out. Maybe she's like a secret shopper. What is that baby doing?
She's chewing up a cardboard box.
Now is not the time, ma'am. Maybe take a nap. I forgot Hazel was in here, and I was like, wow, she sounds just like Hazel. Oh, those cats. All right. Well, also, as she's filling out these hotel check-in cards, she's giving various dates of birth between 1942 and 1945. She filled out many of the cards in German, but in like bad German, where the spelling or the phrasing was not quite right. I didn't go back and look, but she used the name of something in Belgium that was like only called that during the Nazi occupation. And then she also gave different jobs. For some of the cards, handwriting analysis thought that she either grew up or went to school in Belgium or France. And on other cards, handwriting experts felt like she was actually trying to hide her real handwriting. And I think that was like towards the end of her stays that like her handwriting started getting more erratic.
Yeah.
So, do you have any thoughts yet?
Well, the first thought I'm going to tell you is that I do not know the outcome of this story, but I have heard this story.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't recognize it from the beginning, but then as we got farther, I can remember hearing this on, like, videos I've watched that's just, like, mysterious things. And so it's just a blurb, basically. But, I think what a lot of those blurbs have said, and, you know, just what I would guess, is that she's some kind of spy.
Yeah, and that's the usual guess. And we are in the middle of the Cold War. And police eventually figure out the code that was found in her suitcase. It doesn't really prove that she's a spy. It doesn't disprove that she's a spy, but the code seemed to be a record of where she had visited. So, for instance, one of the lines read 022028P, which matches up to a hotel stay from October 22nd to October 28th in Paris.
Yeah.
And another line read 030BN5 that corresponds to her stay in Bergen from October 30th to November 5th. Okay. So it's, so it's like a record of her hotel stays or like her travels or whatever. And I don't know, like I don't write down things like that. I also don't travel a lot. I don't know what the purpose of doing that would have been.
No, I don't know why you would need to log your many erratic hotel stays.
Yeah. But again, at this time, the world was in the midst of the Cold War, which was between the United States and the Soviet Union. Norway was an ally of the United States and also one of the founding members of NATO. The largest naval base in Norway was located in Bergen, with warships from the US, Germany, and England regularly visiting, preparing for war. Soviet submarines were suspected of snooping around the fjords in Norway, and it's likely that Soviet spies were lurking around Bergen at this time. Apparently, in a document from Norway's secret police dated from December 22nd, 1979, a local fisherman recalls seeing a woman matching the Isdal Woman's description near his house. And this is significant because the Norwegian military was testing a new missile system called the Penguin missile system from this place where the fisherman lived. But they said that the interview with the fisherman was missing from the file. Also, though the Isdal Woman was also in Bergen. Oh, never mind. I read that funny. The Isdal Woman was also in Bergen and Stavanger at times when missile tests were being conducted in those places.
Interesting.
Yes. At one hotel, a waitress remembers the woman sitting next to two German Navy officers, but didn't seem to be interacting with them. So maybe she was just sitting near them, like trying to
listen in.
So maybe she was a Soviet spy. I don't remember if I wrote this anywhere in here, but she wore like a fur hat.
Well, I know that you mentioned that it was on fire,
but she also like wore the fur hat, and like that seems like a very like Russian thing.
Yes, very Soviet of her.
Yes, it is. And in the last hotel she stayed at, there were reports of a heavy perfume and smell of spices that was described at the time as Oriental. I know that's not a word that we use these days, but at that time, that's how it was described. And this is interesting because it's also believed that Mossad agents were operating in the area at this time as well. And she was consistently described as having a darker complexion with dark features. The argument against Spy, though, is that she stood out like a sore thumb.
Right.
Norway is known for blonde hair and blue eyes and fair skin. This woman was dark complected, dark hair, dark eyes. She also was traveling alone, which was very uncommon for a woman to do at the time. Plus, she was visiting places that weren't popular for tourists.
Right.
And was visiting in November, which doesn't seem like a very touristy time of year, especially in dark, cold Norway. And so people noticed her more. But also, if not spy, then why visit these places in Norway in November?
Right.
The Bergen police commissioner made a statement saying that they found no evidence of her being a spy, but then later it came out that the Norwegian surveillance agency had actually been investigating the Isdal Woman's case and denied any involvement in the case until 2002. So that seems a little strange.
Huh.
And also, hilariously, a crime reporter named Knut Havik was given a file on the case, like to write about this in the 70s. It had a cassette tape in an envelope. The envelope said something like, "Do not open without express permission of the supervisor." And he just went, oh, okay. And didn't open it or listen to the tape.
It said no.
It said no. I couldn't open it. The supervisor didn't tell me that I could. So, nobody knows what's on that tape.
No one's opened it since?
I guess the tape no longer exists. I don't know. I don't know what happened to the tape afterwards. In February 1971, the police closed the case because they had zero leads, and they decided to bury her. Based on her belongings, which I don't know what was in her belongings, but they decided she was Catholic.
Okay.
And so they gave her a Catholic funeral. They put lilacs and tulips on her coffin, and a priest conducted a simple ceremony that was attended only by police. They buried her in a zinc-lined coffin that wouldn't decompose in case any family ever came to claim her. And they even kept a photo album of the funeral for her relatives if anybody showed up. So, in 2016, a million years later, the case was actually reopened with the hopes that modern scientific advances might help figure out her identity.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that was unique about old Fenella was that her teeth were very distinctive. 14 of her teeth were filled, and she had several gold crowns. Norwegian dentists confirmed that this is not dental work from Norway at the time, and her jaw had been kept by Professor Gilles Bang, hoping that someday it could be used to help determine her identity. However, when he died, the jaw disappeared.
That sounds about par.
Right? Inge Morlid, a forensic doctor who had inherited the files on the case, had been told that the jaw was thrown away because it smelled bad.
It smelled like garlic.
I was going to say. Also, how much garlic was this woman consuming that she just smelled like garlic?
And did she just bring it with her?
Well, that's what I was wondering, because I was like, where is she getting the garlic if she's been in Norway for weeks and she reeked of it at the end of her trip? And was she like traveling with it and eating it raw?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because one of the hotels she stayed in commented that hers was the most basic room that didn't even have a bathroom. So it's not like she had a kitchen where she was cooking things. So I don't know where this garlic is coming from. Maybe she was afraid of vampires.
Could be.
And just carried it with her. Or maybe she had Voldemort on the back of her head.
Could also be. Did they check?
I don't know if they checked. Maybe that's why her backside didn't burn. Because Voldy was back there. The good news, though, is that they did find her jaw. It was in the basement of a hospital in forensic archives, along with tissue samples from her lungs, heart, adrenal gland, and ovaries.
Okay.
In the podcast I mentioned earlier, the Death in Ice Valley one, they had an expert look at her jaw, and he said that the work on her teeth would have been extensive and expensive. and he guessed that the work would have been done in Germany.
Yeah.
And this was confirmed by a German dentist. Her teeth were also used for isotope testing. So when your teeth are forming, chemical elements are embedded in your teeth, like from the things that you drink and eat and like your environment, essentially. And that's what isotope testing looks for. So they performed 2 different tests. They did oxygen isotope analysis, which can determine the type of water she drank growing up or where the water came from. And the other test was strontium isotope analysis, which could determine what kinds of food she ate and the type of soil in the area where she grew up.
Okay.
Science is crazy.
Science is pretty weird.
The testing suggested that she was born around 1930 around Nuremberg, Germany, and grew up in the border region of France and Germany. DNA has also been run on her tissue samples, which, while there wasn't a hit on her identity, it did show that she was of European descent, which mostly rules out her being a Mossad agent.
Yeah.
In 2017, after these results were published, Norwegian authorities were send out an Interpol black notice with the new information for other European police agencies to check their DNA databases, but from what I could find, nothing came from that. I did ask Google AI if her DNA had ever been put into a genealogy database, and Gemini said that it hasn't due to legal and privacy restrictions in Norway.
Well, they need to calm down because we need to know who this lady is.
Right. Well, I listened to the episode that Red Handed did on this, and Hannah's theory was that knowing she was born around Nuremberg, that maybe she was secreted away from the country, maybe with other children, and then maybe she was mentally unwell and suffered from paranoid delusions and always thought somebody was after her, and so that made her like constantly move around and try to disguise herself. And that would also explain the labels being taken off of all of her clothing and items. I only question this theory because I don't know where she got all the money that she must have had.
Yeah, because if you're just a ward of the state or whatever.
Yeah. Then... And she seemed to be traveling constantly. She was said to have nice clothes and celebrity boots.
Celebrity boots.
They also mentioned on the Death in Ice Valley podcast that black market passports don't come cheap. And she had at least 7 of them. Yeah. So maybe it was a case of someone with severe mental health issues. Maybe it was murder. Maybe it was suicide. For sure, though, somebody was trying to hide her identity.
Whether it be her or somebody else.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, for sure, she was removing her labels and using fake identities. It's pretty widely believed that she or...
He kicked her out of the room.
I know. She was probably climbing on the lizard cage. It's pretty widely believed that she or someone was destroying a passport or maybe all of her passports with the fire in the Isdal Valley. Yeah. And one theory, I think it was one of the police at the time, said that she was probably carrying a can of hairspray and was either using it as an accelerant for the fire to burn these things, and then it exploded, and that's how she caught on fire.
I mean, could have happened.
But as far as I could find, there were no remnants of a hairspray can ever found.
Yeah.
Some investigators believed that she was forced to swallow all of those sleeping pills.
That's a lot of pills to swallow.
It's a lot.
I don't even like taking the amount of pills that I take daily.
No.
I can't imagine taking that many pills and in, like, succession.
Right. It would be so much. I think, like, even though you know that it's going to make you go to sleep, like, it gives me a stomachache just thinking of swallowing that many pills.
Yeah.
Ugh. If she was a spy, someone could have murdered her. Maybe the whole time she was running from a scary stalker person who finally caught up with her. There were reports in the last days of her life of her being seen with a man and that the interactions did not look like pleasant ones.
Yeah.
Maybe she was tired of running and decided to end things herself. I kind of agree with red-handed ladies, though. They said that, you know, they hope that that the case never gets solved because she obviously wanted to stay hidden.
True.
So maybe we should just let her stay hidden. But that is the mysterious case of the Isdal Woman.
It's pretty mysterious.
It is pretty mysterious.
There's a lot going on, and
yeah,
very little explanation for any of it.
Yeah. Well, and like some people are like, well, sure, everybody thinks like spy because she's removing the labels from things and whatever, but like, what would be the purpose of removing the labels from her makeup?
I know.
Like, who cares where her makeup came from? And they even like wrote to big department stores all over Europe and like France and stuff to say like, hey, do you know this makeup? Like, and nobody like knew what it was. And so, I don't know. It's just strange.
That's weird.
It is weird. I don't know, man.
I don't either. That's a weird one. Whether I've heard bits of it or not, it's definitely a strange one.
Yeah. I think, like, I had heard about it, but not really, like, remembered the stories about it. Like, if not spy, then why spy shaped?
Why quack like a spy?
Yeah. I don't know. I was hoping maybe you knew.
I don't know. I don't even have any theories.
No?
No. I'm gonna spank the cat, but...
Yeah, that's a theory.
That is a theory. Maybe she was running from her cats.
That's why I'm running away, actually.
Because I'm considering running from my cats.
Yes. Especially Hazel, because she's a pain in the booty.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that the calendar is a perfect rectangle this month?
I did.
Yeah.
I was quite happy. And it won't be a perfect rectangle next month, but I also enjoy that the days are on the same days next month.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That all of the dates fall on the same day of the week.
Yeah. The 7th is still Saturday. The 14th is still Saturday.
I think February and March are always like that, except for like leap year or something.
Yeah. But I was noticing that as I was getting stuff ready for my calendar. I was like, huh.
Yeah. I figure anybody with like OCD tendencies or will enjoy that this month.
I was quite satisfied by the fact that when I wrote all the dates down, they were a perfect rectangle.
Yep. Well, since we are very exciting people.
We really are, and especially today, we seem to be exceptionally exciting.
It's almost your birthday.
It is almost my birthday. I'm going to be very old, but we're not going to talk about that part.
What is the date? Today's the 7th. So 20 more days.
20 more days till my birthday.
20 more days. I've already started working on my story for next week.
Good job.
I know.
Because I don't have any clue of what I'm going to write next.
And I already planned out your birthday story.
Great.
So if you could come up with one for the 3rd week, that would be great.
I will do my darndest.
I was thinking that I had it all covered, but then looking at the calendars just now, I realized that I'm one story short.
I don't know if you guys can hear the cat trying to open the door, but it's really obnoxious.
Yeah. And then she shuts it.
She shuts it, and then she opens it, and she shuts it, and then she opens it.
Just wait till she
one of those hook latches, and my door, hook locks, because my door doesn't latch properly, and so she just pushes it and pulls it, and pushes it and pulls it.
Yeah.
And the baby's crying to get in.
I'm just waiting for her to figure out how to use the CD to unlock the door.
Right. And she figures out how you can just slip something in there and unlock it.
She'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, remember that you can find us on social media at Twisted and Mysterious, and you can email us at twistedandmysteriousPodcast@gmail.com. I'm learning.
You are learning. You're learning how to memorize things.
I sure am. I mean, I've said it for over a year now.
Yeah. You should be starting to catch on by now.
That's about time, I would think. Yeah. I'm sorry we were late again this week.
Yeah.
I honestly, it felt like a job this week, and I was putting it off because it felt like a job. It felt like I had to do it, and I didn't want to do it, and I just couldn't make myself do it.
It happens.
Then last night, I went into hyperfixation mode.
Dun dun dun.
Got it done.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so without further ado, remember that people are gross and don't get murdered.
And if you're going to be a spy, be what I'm trying to say?
I don't know.
Be a better spy.
I was going to say be a better spy, but I didn't know if that's what you were trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, bye.
Bye.